Hello, grade 6 learners. Welcome to our English lesson today. This morning, we are going to discuss on one part of speech, which we refer to as adjectives. I understand that you've been taught parts of speech right from grade 4. And to remind you, adjectives are words that describe a noun or a pronoun. Now, what is a noun? A noun is a naming word. It can name a place, a person, or a thing. For example, pen, teacher, blackboard, school. Those are examples of nouns. So these adjectives will tell us more about the pen, about the teacher, and more about the school. We have pronouns that are also described by the adjectives. Examples of pronouns are I, she, he, they, we, and name them. I know you have them in your bucket. Now, these pronouns are words that are used in places of nouns in a sentence. So we have said adjectives are words that tells us more about a noun or a pronoun. And I have gone ahead and given you the examples of these nouns and pronouns. Now, so here with me, I have the examples of adjectives, or rather the describing words that we can use while telling more about the nouns. For example, nice, pretty, industrious, and beautiful. These are just for a few. In a statement, I can say, Angelica is a beautiful girl. Angelica is a beautiful girl. Angelica is a noun. Beautiful is the adjective. This being the noun, we have the adjective because this is telling us more about Angelica. It is describing Angelica. Therefore, it's an adjective. Juma is an astute farmer. Juma is an astute farmer. Astute here is a word describing Juma, who is a noun. Astute is another name for industrious or hardworking. So when I say Juma is an astute farmer, I mean Juma is a hardworking farmer. So astute here is an adjective. Having said that, we have, when we are talking of adjectives, there is how we make these adjectives or we form the adjectives, depending on how many nouns are we talking about. For instance, when you are talking about one noun, we use adjectives, and the form of that adjective is known as positive. Then you can use adjectives when you're talking, or rather when you're comparing two places, two people, or two things. That one we refer to is as comparative. Then we have adjectives that we use when comparing more than two people, more than two places, more than two things. These adjectives, we refer to them as comparative adjectives. And here I've written positive, comparative, and superlative degrees of adjective. The positive degree is used when one person or a thing is being talked about. Positive adjectives, we talk of one thing, one place, or one person. Then we have the comparative. Comparative, coming from the word compare. This is where we are comparing words, or rather, we are comparing two things. We are comparing two people or two places. Now, when the adjectives that we use in these sentences of comparing two things, two people or two items, we refer to them as comparative. They are comparative adjectives. The first one was positive adjective. This one is a comparative. Then we have the superlatives. Superlative adjectives, we use them when comparing more than two items, or more than two things, or more than two people. We use superlative. In other words, this one can be referred to as first degree, second degree, third degree. First degree, we discuss about one item, one person, one thing. Second degree, which is comparative adjectives, we talk of, or rather we compare two people, two things, or two places. Superlative, we compare more than two of the item, people, or thing. For example, I have a table with me here, and this table I've divided it into three: positive, comparative, and superlative. When I talk of one boy, I'll say John is tall. John is tall. This is the positive. I'm talking of one person. If I'm to compare two, John and John, I'll say John is taller than John. John is taller than John. So the adjective in this case will be taller. Taller. This one I've compared two people. If I'm to talk about three people, I'll say John is the tallest of them. Or John is the tallest in class. In a class has several pupils, so it is comparing more than two. So I'll say tallest. Smooth. To make a comparative, you add ER. So when you're forming this from the positive one, for the regular adjectives, we add ER to make the word taller, which is a comparative. To make superlative, you must have seen I have changed ER to EST. So the EST has given me the superlative degree. Let's see